Hello, everyone. It's Shane Conto, your Wasteland reviewer, and welcome to the Streaming Wasteland here on the SPM Crew Podcasting Network. And this is my weekly show where each Friday I take three streaming services and pick a previously released film off of each. And hopefully, by the end of the weekend, you have a nice full palette of films to check out. And this week, we're going to be highlighting, the king of them all, Netflix. We got Disney Plus and Mubi. And let's get started with Netflix and a film that certainly has its flaws, but certainly has a lot of very interesting and engaging elements to it as well. And that is 1978's The Wiz. And this film is, The Black Wizard of Oz. And this was a very popular Broadway show in the early 70s. And interestingly enough, director Sidney Lumet, who is one of the all-time great filmmakers, wound up directing this film and does all of his choices in terms of directing a musical really work. There's a lot of like big wide shot static shots that just don't capture the energy of what's going on. If you can get past that, there are a lot of great things about this film, and I think it's an interesting adaptation of The Wizard of Oz because it finds this very like urban and very like culturally African American experience that it portrays on screen. And there's a lot of different interesting elements on how this is brought to life. And it's very 70s. It channels that black exploitation experience of cinema and has those kinds of elements. And then you have a really fantastic cast. They definitely age up Dorothy to fit Diana Ross taking on this role. And Diana Ross is an incredible singer. And she really brings an energy to these songs in this film and is matched really well with the rest of this incredible cast. You have Michael Jackson as the Scarecrow, and he just brings this joy and young energy to this character, and you love his dynamic with Dorothy. You have Nipsey Russell as the Tin Man, who brings a very specific vibe. I think Ted Ross as the Lion is so much fun. He apparently is one of the few that actually got brought over from the Broadway show, and he just has big energy and just absolutely kills it. Mabel King, who also got brought over from the show, playing Eveline, who's the Wicked Witch. She brings this power and presence and just is so much fun. And you have Lena Horne, Glinda the Good. You have Richard Pryor as the Wiz. This is a fantastic cast. And the production design and costuming alone is just incredible. And what it brings out, I really enjoy many of the musical numbers. If you can get past some of the staler, maybe lacking directorial choices that didn't really match the energy of the show, you can really appreciate a lot of the elements that went into this. It's 2 hours and 15 minutes, and maybe it could have been a little tighter as well. But I'm not here to be like, I'm giving you all five-star movies. This is just such a fascinating experience, and there's so much fun to enjoy about it. And give it a try. It's right there on Netflix. That's the whole, you know, gist of this experience is like these are on streaming, and you all have these streaming services, and this is just something a little bit different to give a chance and enjoy for sure. It's one that I watched a lot as a kid. I watched The Wizard of Oz, Return to Oz, the 80s really dark, demented sequel from Disney, and The Wiz a lot. So definitely one to go check out. Now let's jump over to Disney Plus, which includes Hulu as well at this point, and talk about 2002's My Big Fat Greek Wedding. And this film is one of the most charming, unexpected rom-coms probably ever, to be honest. And this was bankrolled by Tom Hanks and Rita Wilson and, you know, they were the producers on this. They got this made. And this is such a personal story for Nia Vardalos and her journey through this being a Greek American experience. And I'm just going to say this right now, being an Italian American, this film speaks to me because my fellow Mediterranean paisans, you throw in the Spaniards, Italians, and Greek people, we have a lot in common, especially Italian and Greek people. Replace all the Nickies with like the Michaels and the Tonys, and basically you have a very similar experience. And I just love the family dynamic of this and this like collective mindset of just like you have family and being in a like an ethnic culture like this film really captures that so well. And it makes sense because Vardolis is really pulling upon her own experiences. This film feels so, so authentic. And I think that's what's so important. And, it's a really low budgeted indie rom com, but it captures such a fun story. You have Tula, who's, she's made a little frumpy. She's like ever long connected to her family and stuck in this rut. And this is her coming out party of, finding a man played by John Corbett, aka one of the many suitors from the show Sex in the City. And Ian's is white toast, white as possible. You got that bunt cake that Himley brings. And, it's that culture clash that I think is so interesting about this film. Like that moment where the parents meet, or at least his parents meet her whole entire family, is so much fun because it's so culture. It's just like he's a vegetarian. That's fine. I make lamb. And you're just like, ah, I definitely have family members who would have said something like that. And it's so charming and fun. And this cast is incredible too. Whether it's Michael Constantine or Lainey Kazan, who play her parents, they're so committed. Andrea Martin, who plays the aunt, is by far one of the most entertaining characters in this whole series. I enjoy the whole series, even if it's kind of like diminishing returns from like a filmmaking standpoint. Louis Mandalore as cousin Nick, I love him in this. He's such a great addition to the cast. You even have Joey Fatone from NSYNC, which is absolutely fantastic. Gia Carides is cousin Nikki. It's just the whole cast is fun and very authentic. And this is just this is such a joyous, just drenching of another culture and just being lost in it. And the romantic comedy elements are sure tropey, but they're well done. They're well put together. This is really well written. And this, for the longest time, was the highest grossing film ever to never lead the box office. Fun little fact there, until it got beat by Sing. Also, another fun fact. But in the end, this is such a charming romantic comedy, and it's certainly worth your time. And lastly, we're going to Mubi and going into a completely different direction um, than, my Big Fat Greek Wedding. And that is 1978. Got a couple of 78 films this week. Is the 36th Chamber of Shaolin. So we have a kung fu martial arts film coming your way. A school student who conspires with his teacher and others to overthrow the Qing dynasty sees his family slaughtered at the hands of his enemy. He joins the Shaolin Temple and rigorously studies martial arts to avenge his beloved ones. Who doesn't love a good old fashioned 70s revenge film? And Chia Hui Lu, who plays San Ti, who also directed this film, leads the way in this iconic martial arts film. A lot of this film really is like training at the Shaolin Temple. And there's so many great martial arts sequences. There's so many great moments of navigating this experience of training and finding your place in martial arts, finding your balance in life. And a lot of this film is a giant training montage, and that's fine because you get invested in this experience of him building up his skills, him developing to get to the point where he's able to go out there and do his thing. This is one of the great martial arts films of all time. There's so many great teachable thematic moments throughout the film that really resonate. You have a charismatic and committed central performer who really delivers on the physicality of everything that goes on in this film. And you see all these great martial arts moments. The action is incredible. When you finally get to the point where you're going full blown fighting, it's exciting. It is extremely well choreographed. It's all well put together, and it has this very distinct kind of vibe to it. It has this very 70s exploitation kind of film. It channels that energy of many martial arts films of the time. It's a fascinating journey. And if you're not really well versed in martial arts films, this is an interesting place to start because it really does capture that whole entire journey of training and getting to this point. And it is impactful, it's exciting, it has so many great moments of this journey and a strong central performance. It is the blueprint of so many revenge stories and martial arts films, and it just hits all the beats so perfectly well. And it's such a fascinating film and such a random film to be on Mubi. So take advantage of it. The movie one's honestly the really tough one to find older films to recommend because so much of Mubi is, which is a fantastic thing that it does, is channeling those new international films and like really small films that not a lot of people are paying attention to. But occasionally you do find a little gem that's out there every couple weeks on this show and you're able to dig into. And this is a fun one to navigate and experience for the first time for sure. But that's a wrap here on the Streaming Wasteland. So let's do a little bit of recap for you. Let's head over to Netflix for 1978, The Wiz. And then on Disney Plus Hulu, you have 2002's My Big Fat Greek Wedding. And lastly, on Mubi, also going back to 1978, we have The 36th Chamber of Shaolin. But those are all my films that I'm recommending this week. Like, comment, and share on this episode. What's your favorite little rom com, that like small indie one that, is such a little charmer? What's your favorite, like, different kind of unique adaptation of something like The Wiz taking on this whole entire other kind of cultural experience? And do you dabble in martial arts films? Do you have any favorites? Let us know. And make sure to follow or subscribe wherever you listen to your podcast. The SPDM Crew Podcasting Network is ever expanding. We have so many great shows already and expanding into new ones and bringing on new people, new perspectives, and new guests to, whether it's talking about movies or television, physical media, music, sports, all kinds of different things. Make sure to check us out. And if you like our logo, make sure to check out HiFlyer Creative for all your digital marketing needs. But the most important thing, thank you as always for tuning in and supporting the Streaming Wasteland here on the SPDM Crew Podcasting Network.